In this video, we are going to make a brief introduction to fractions. If we look at the definition of fractions, we see that it is the comparison of part to whole. Now, when we say that, it's a comparison, we compare the part of the whole, it seems as if the part is always smaller than the whole. Well, this is correct to some extent, but it may not be the case. So when you write a fraction, for example, if you write 3/5, we're talking about three parts, as in here. I mean, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts of a whole of this rectangle. So we're talking about three parts of it. So this is what we say a fraction represents. But as I said before, the number at the top might be bigger. Now, this is called, the number at the top is called as numerator, and the one at the bottom is called as denominator. Now, there are different types of fractions, and we'll talk about that a little bit because they convert to each other, and it is very important how to change or convert those fractions to each other while making some operations or solving problems of fractions. So we have, let's say, 1/4. So I can write this as 1/4. This is called as unit fraction, where the numerator is always 1. For example, 1/8 or 1/5. So the denominator may be different, but the numerator is always 1. So if I go on shading and have, let's say, 3/4, 3/4, this is called as proper fraction, where the numerator is less than the denominator. You can see that 3 is smaller than 4, so this is a proper fraction. Or 6/10, again, the numerator is smaller than the denominator, so this is a proper fraction. As there are proper fractions, there are improper fractions too. Let's see how they appear like. Now, if I have another whole, and let's have 4 pieces of that, and this will be fully shaded, right? Now this fraction will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over, well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, so it's going to be 7/8. Or, well, it is not going to be 7/8 actually. It is going to be 7/4, because I have to consider this one as one whole, which is 4/4, because actually there are 4 parts. So there are 4 parts in here too, so it is 3/4 here, and there is one whole which is 4/4. Together there are 7 pieces of 4 pieces each, so it's gonna be 7/4 actually, right? Now when the numerator is bigger than the denominator, right, we have an improper fraction. Here 7 is bigger than 4, so if the numerator is bigger than the denominator, then it's called as improper fractions. Now, just because we have one whole here, it's not a fraction of a whole, we can also consider writing this as a mixed number fraction, like 1, meaning one whole, and 3/4. So basically, this one whole goes here, and this 3/4, which represents this one, I write it beside that. So this is called as mixed number fraction because it has an integer part and the fraction part, so this is the mix. Now we can change mixed number fractions to improper fractions, and we can change improper fractions to mixed number fractions. Let's see how. For example, if we have 2 3/5 as a fraction, then to write it as an improper fraction, this is what I'm going to do. At the top, I have to write down 2 times 5 plus 3. So basically I multiply 2 and 5, so this is multiplication, and then I add 3 to it. The idea behind that is that the denominator is always the same, so I have two holes here, two whole parts, two holes, right? So if I have these two holes in 5 pieces, it will make 10 pieces, and then there are 3 more, so it's going to be 13, and then the denominator never changes, so it's going to be 5. What I'm trying to say is the two holes are represented here. This is one hole and this is 2 holes together, right? So there are 5 pieces here, there are 5 pieces here, and then also we have 3/5, so this is 3/5, or if I say there are 3 pieces here. Now altogether 5 plus 5 plus 3 gives me 13. This is how I do the calculation. So it is 2 times 5 plus 3, as I wrote here. And then the denominator does not change because these holes are divided by 5. So there are 5 pieces each. So the denominator is always the same. So we convert this mixed number fraction to improper fraction. If we have an improper fraction like 9/4, to change it into mixed number, basically we do long division. So if I divide 9 by 4, well, there are 2 4s in 9, so 2 times 4 is 8, and I take away 8 from 9. Now, this 2 is 2 wholes, right? I write it here. This 1 is the remainder. I write it as the numerator, and just because I'm dividing it by 4, there should be 4 pieces, so it's gonna be the denominator. So 2 is the integer part, it's 2. 1 is numerator as the remainder, and 4, this is the divisor, it will be the denominator. Another example, let's go with 11/3. This means you will divide 11 by 3, right? So there are 3 3's in 11. 3 times 3 is 9. So you take away 9 from 11 and you get 2. So you're going to write this as the integer part. This being the remainder, it's going to go to the numerator, so it's going to be 2 here. And this is the divisor, you have to write here 3. Now is your turn. Please solve these questions and submit your answers online.